So now you'll see here, we took it a step further. So if you want to debug a Node application or a Node script, you can do so simply by running Node and then passing a couple arguments. And I'll just show you the inline version here. So for example, like debug this, right? Let's just say for any script, you'd have to run node --inspect --debug brk, which just says break on the first line. I think it's now inspect break. Sorry, inspect brk. And then it'd just be the path to your file. So of course you're like, well, Sean, we're just calling a CLI command, and so how do we debug that? Webpack or whatever, like foo.js. So this was, if you had like a debugger statement, what happens is you can actually load this. Let's see what script files we have in here now. So does this have a module or anything? We should just dive in and understand how the debugger works. So actually go ahead and write this command. So debug this, and then index.js. So node --inspect --inspect -brk, and then source/index.js. Now, do we all have, like, at the least Chrome running on your computer maybe? Or if you have VS Code. I'll show you the way to do it with Chrome. You can actually do it inside of VS Code too, but I don't want to derail too much because I know not everybody's using it. And so what happens when we run this, right? So npm run debug this. Wow, what happens? We now get this fancy URL, right? But what's super cool, and we're going to be adding this feature for Microsoft Edge. You might be like, Sean, why are you on Chrome? In the URL, you just type chrome//inspect. You'll notice that you'll actually see, so I'm on a little bit earlier version of Chrome here. You might even see a little node icon that you can click on, or if you go to chrome://inspect, it'll show remote targets, and you'll see this target here. And there's even a place that says Open Dedicated Dev Tools for Node. So if you click on that, look, it's actually broken in the module. Like, there's your breakpoint. That's your module scope. Like, this is how Node loads files. It's ironic. You're like, well, it's an iffy. Oh my goodness. And so you can even open up a console, and you could just say like global, I think is the version of window in Node. Oops. There you go. Or process. So like process.env. Like, look, you know exactly what version you're running. You might be 8, it might be 10, what the architecture. Like, you're inside of Node right now, and you're stopped at a breakpoint. Just turns out we don't have any code. So if you wrote a debugger statement, you can actually break into it and see what that code looks like. So keep this context in mind. So this is the value for this, especially when you're working with like Node tools. It's really nice to be able to debug through this kind of stuff. And so therefore, we kind of have to reformat our scripts if we want to be able to debug Webpack. And if you have those dedicated Node tools, you instantly get, it actually switches context over. Sometimes this can be annoying, but I think there's a configuration for it. But now you're literally in Webpack right now when you run this. Here, and I'll go back to the script so you can see and follow along. So now we're literally inside of the Node process. And actually what you'll see is we're in the webpack.js, like the binary file. We could even peruse this code and be like, well, what's Webpack doing here? And it just requires the Webpack CLI. And you can step through it just as if you were stepping through anything else. And that's super nice. If you ever wanted to write your own custom plugin or custom loader or find out why something is failing, this is super valuable. I think even you get the context. So it's like, so if I wanted to say like Webpack, what's a good place where Webpack runs? we could go to the lib webpack.js. So if you hit Command or Control P, you get basically like a file picker while you're in this state. So lib, oops. Why can't I type I's today? lib/webpack. So here is like the Webpack like lib or node API file. And you'll see like, Sean, wow, that's a lot of plugins. I don't understand. And I'll teach you more about this. But you could set a breakpoint almost anywhere, and I believe it'll just stop, depending on how far I've gotten. I think maybe I stopped at the wrong point. Oh yeah, it looked like it did. But adding breakpoints to like critical pieces, custom plugins, custom loaders. If we get as far as custom loaders, we can talk about why this is valuable. And I kind of joke, but I'm like dead serious. It's kind of like debug-driven development. Like you're literally just trying to step through to understand, the order of operations. Async is hard a lot of times, and so it provides really valuable context. So these are probably going to be the scripts that we run with, and I think we've kind of beat scripts to death here. But does anybody have any questions about the composition, or have any concerns, or about how specifically to use them? Because I want you feeling comfortable with adding this kind of composition. Everything we do will really focus around composition and separation of concerns. Most people will find that they have problems using Webpack because they shove everything into one script, into one build file, and so it becomes fragile, just like having a 10,000 line JavaScript file and trying to maintain it.